Uh, Thank you, Greg, for starting that recording. And yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn Napper. I'm on the board of directors for the Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County. And I'm filling in tonight for Giselle Nova, who's over in Tenet attending a meeting. And we got Ruby, who's filling in, who looks like Giselle Nova. She's helping me. And we're going to jump right into everything. The purpose of the meeting tonight is just to share information about what we're doing, make contacts with others, and we're going to have a presentation this evening as well. So we're going to start first with introductions. So, the easiest way if we do this for me is if we just do it alphabetically and just looking at our participants list. I'm going to start with our speaker tonight. So Alicia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me tonight. My name is Alicia Ballinger, and I'm the Conservationist Supervisor for the California Conservation Corps for Redding and for Shasta County and Siskiyou County. So we have an office in both locations, and I'll look forward to sharing more about that with everyone.
Okay, great. Thanks. And we'll go over to Glenn.
Hi, everybody. Glenn Jysted. I'm a board member of the Fire Safe Council. Live in Horse Creek up here on the Klamath River, and just been away for a few months. So I feel like I've got to kind of figure out what the heck's going on. So I'm just here to say hi to everybody.
All right, thanks, Glenn. And Heidi.
Hi there.
Hi
I'm
there.
Heidi George. I'm the Gateway Firewise community leader, and I am just finishing up our last event, and we're ready to kick off our in-house community event on May 1st.
Okay, thanks, Heidi. And moving on to Simbala.
Hi, my name is Simbala, and I am the conservation coordinator for Siskiyou Land Trust, and I'm also the site supervisor for our California Climate Action Corps fellows. They are AmeriCorps fellows.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Cherise.
Hi, thank you for asking for introductions. I'm the lead community engagement liaison and wildfire risk assessor volunteer in Ashland, Oregon. And Jenny Erickson and I want to start a fire safe council across the border.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm glad to have you here, and we're going to move on to Christine Holst.
Hello there. Good to see you, Carolyn.
Yeah.
I'm Christine Holst, and I work for the Fuels Department for the U.S. Forest Service out of McLeod, California, on the Shasta Trinity National Forest.
Okay, great. And Connor Gray.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? I'm Connor. I was here last meeting. I just joined. This will be my second meeting. I work in vegetation and wildfire related work with a company called Asset Integrity Field Service. I'm just here to learn more about the projects going on.
Okay, great. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right. And then from the Klamath National Forest, Jenny Erickson.
Hello.
From the
So here's
Jenny,
the thing.
the wrong Jenny. My goodness, it's good to see you.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
There's two of us. I'm Jennifer Erickson from the
You can go
Klamath
first.
Forest. I get her calls sometimes.
Okay, great. So Jenny Erickson.
Thanks, Carolyn. I'm the former field supervisor for the Wairika office of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and currently Retired, so working with Charisse on the wildfire risk assessment program we have up here in Ashland, and we are thinking about how we could design, develop a fire safe council in Southern Oregon. Happy to be here. So just kind of observing today.
Okay, great. Joseph, Joseph Hott.
Yeah, hi, this is Joseph Hott from Black Mountain Fire Safe in Hornbrook, and I'm a coordinator for Fire Safe out here in Northern California, and also work with the core program.
Okay, great. Glad to have you. Madeline Murine. Madeline, do you want to unmute and introduce yourself?
Okay, I just figured it out. Okay, hi,
Yeah.
Madeline Mubaji. I'm a resident of Quartz Valley, and I'd just like to listen in and see if there's any way to plug in and make a difference at some point in
Okay,
our fire
good.
risk.
Yeah, you bet. And Marina.
Hey everyone, sorry, I'm gonna keep my camera off because my reception is a bit weird. Hi everyone, I'm Marina Oliva, Program Coordinator for the Community Wildfire Defense Grant in partnership with the Fire Safe Council and core community organized relief efforts.
Okay, great. And Patty Grantham.
Hi, everybody. I'm Patty Grantham. I'm a project manager with the Shasta Valley RCD, and I'm also the coordinator for the Siskiyou Prescribed Burn Association.
Okay. You're a little muted, but I think we heard that. Did I miss anyone? Anybody? I think I got everyone. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to our speaker. And we heard a little bit from Alicia Ballinger, who's been with the CCC for 6 years. She's in charge of developing, monitoring, and managing a bunch of public service and conservation work. And she's going to talk about some of the fuel reduction projects they have both within Siskiyou and Shasta counties, and some of the internal funding they have, and some opportunities. So I will turn it over to you, Alicia.
All right. I will say I've been with the Seas for a lot longer than 6 years. I've been in this current role for 6 years, and that's what this role is what brought me to Redding. So prior to that, I was a conservationist out of Mendocino County at the Ukiah office. And then I also did about 10 seasons with the Forest Service on doing wilderness recreational trails between the Klamath National Forest and the Trinity Alps. I was a core member myself starting in 1997. And so after I went off and had some career development and higher education, I circled back to the CCC about 10 years ago. And it's been a really fulfilling role for me. And to come back to Shasta County and be able to still support valuable project work in the Klamath and throughout these Northern California counties has been just bringing me full circle in my career. So I'm very passionate about it. I love this area. And I just want to be able to, do as much outreach as possible so that people understand what the CCC is all about and how we can help in communities and what we've been doing over the course of the last 5 to 6 years regarding fuel reduction. So I would say within the past 5 years, I've been able to use internal funding from California's Climate Action Initiative to fund about 250 acres of fuel reduction. And that's been within Shasta County with the city of Redding. It's been with the city of Wairika, the city of Anderson, We just recently finished a historic 3.5 acres for a historical cemetery that was established in the late 1800s and is still being used. So I really get to work with people that have high fuel reduction needs and maybe don't have a lot of access to funding. It is, for those of you that know, it's very expensive to get a crew on a fuel reduction project. And so the CCC is a youth development program. We enroll young adults into a program between the age of 18 and 25 years old. If you're a veteran, you can enroll into the program up until you're 29 years old. And we do everything. We train people how to show up on time. We train people how to use a chainsaw and advance them in their technical skills so that they have certifications that are transferable for career development moving forward. So our crews can do slash and pile. We can down trees as long as it's not next to a structure. And then we can burn piles as well. We are currently not red carded for the last 5 years. We've had a very close partnership with CAL FIRE where we did have 1C trained Corps members for initial attack, but they have all since moved on to get jobs from CAL FIRE. So right now we can burn piles on most lands. The BLM, Bureau of Land Management, and the Nature Conservancy require people to be red carded to do burn piles. And I'm working towards getting the crews red carded. But outside of those land management agencies, we are able to do burn piles. We just recently finished one up, a burn project with the Western Shasta RCD to do about a 60-acre burn pile project. So they had contractors that went in, but they weren't able to do the burning. So the deadline for their funding was fast approaching. And I had 3 crews in Reading, which is about 45 people. So I was able to pull them off of all of our projects and put 45 people on the 60-acre burn pile and get it. We essentially did 12 weeks worth of work in 4 weeks. Tomorrow, I'm going to go look at another local burn pile, another 60 acre. So what I'm finding is that the needs are increasing, and what's a challenge is that burn seasons are decreasing, right? Because we're not seeing as much rain, we're getting winds. And so we prioritize doing burn piles when they are in close to houses, and then anything else that's kind of out away from houses. Sometimes we might have to put burn piles on hold and do them when fire season or when burn season kicks up the following year. And so this year I've just finished up a project with the city of Wairika for 20 acres in the Greenhorn Park. I don't know if anybody saw the crew up there working this winter. And then another 30 acres in Anderson, and then 20 acres that we're actively working right now at the Shasta Dam. And the Shasta Dam project it has been getting prioritized for the past 4 years because it involves protecting our critical resources. So we do like to focus on critical resources. We like to also focus on schools. But anybody that gets my attention before all of my funding is allotted, I will come look at your project and see if we can get it through an application process. It does require an exemption from CEQA and a few maps. But I would say the application process is very simple. And it's been streamlined to reduce barriers to be able to get funding. So it's, I come on site, I take 3 pictures, we work together to get a map of the area. show the acreage that we're applying for. Get the CEQA. The CEQA is the lengthiest process, even though it's an exemption. We have to find a person that can do it, for one, even apply for the extension. I know some places go through their local RCDs. They generally have a person qualified to do that. And then even though it's going to be an exemption, it still has to get posted, and the posting has to stay active for 30 days. And then once the 30 days has passed, then we can actively put a crew in the field. So pretty simple. And then at the end of it, we map it again to see if we were able to complete all of the acreage that we said we were going to. There's challenges that come up. So sometimes we don't finish it all. If depends on slope and terrain and what the winter might have looked like with any type of weather. And then we map it. And if there's extra work to be done, then we apply for that again the following year and just kind of actively chip away at it until it's completed. Does anybody have any questions so far?
I think there was one from Patty in the chat. You were at, and it was regarding CEQA.
That's a good question, Patty. So if I'm applying for the funding through our internal funding, I have to have the notice of exemption in the proposal packet. If you already have a site with burn piles and you're using your own funding, then I wouldn't have to ask for a CEQA document.
Well, when you say you say, can you hear me? First?
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, you're talking about RCDs, and of course we have environmental compliance when we do projects. So yeah, so we've already taken care of that by the time we invite you to come and help burn them. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if somebody's calling me and asking for a quote to spend their own money, like I said, you probably have all that on file already. It's only when I'm submitting a proposal and that we're going to fund it through GGRF or SB 901 funds.
Okay, and I think Connor has his hand up. So Connor, do you want to go ahead and come on and ask your question?
Yes, I will. Thank you guys for taking the question. I was just curious. It's kind of my lane. I heard you say that there was before and after documentation of some of those projects. I was just curious what that looks like, whether it's photos, videos, or yeah, just kind of curious what that looks like.
Yeah, so the proposal process requires me to get 3 before pictures and then 3 after pictures and taken from the same area, and then to provide a map of the area that shows where the pictures are from. And that's it. It's pretty. And then at the end, I also get a closeout letter from whoever we partnered with.
So you get 3 before photos, 3 after photos. They give you like a KMZ, KML shapeshift file that they like overlay over Google Earth to show like acreage cleared or prescribed burn area.
Initially I have to attach 2 maps to the proposal, and one needs to be a KMZ or a shape file so that they can open it up in Avenza. And then once we use Avenza on our phones as well, and so we also map the progress while the crew is out there.
Are you Alyssa, Alicia, are you gonna leave your contact info when you're done talking? I'd love to reach out with you with the deliverable that we have with before and after photos or before and after documentation.
You want to send me your documentation?
Yeah, I would love to just show you what proof of concept, what we got going on before and after. We're doing before and after documentation of large mitigation efforts. We're trying to bring more visibility to the large documentation, and we've got advanced capture methods. I don't want to go too into the weeds on it. I'd love to just send you an email and show you what we're talking about.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'll put my email in the chat.
Thank you.
That's great. Heidi, you had a question.
Yeah, Alicia, we have about 10 miles of railroad track that was recently, in the last 3 weeks, all the vegetation was cut. And about 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, the CEQA was done for that same activity. But at that time, there was funding, and the Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County was able to get the work completed using State of California, Deadwood Camp and the Intermountain Camp. So there is a notice of exemption, but it's old. And somehow no one was really brought up to speed on what to do with the fuels after they cut it. So we have about 10 miles of fuels with that's now drying out. And I don't know whether to worry about it this year, but it's right. It's in the Gateway Fireways community about 1.5 miles. So there are homes nearby within 100 feet of the railroad road. And then the rest of it goes all the way to McLeod. So I am trying to figure this out along with a liaison who's working on the other part that's outside of the gateway. We don't have any money. And it might be one of those things that we can get funding for through CAL FIRE grant and be ready to go next spring. I'm also the Audubon fuels management and nesting bird liaison. So I'm really trying to avoid nesting bird season. And so they cut it all down before the birds started nesting, and now the birds are in full, building nest mode. So if you have any thoughts on that, I'd appreciate it.
I mean, my initial thoughts is that 10 acres or 10 miles of property that's linear, that it may, or you would have more insight on this, it may pass over several different types of property boundaries. And so
it's all railroad. It's all railroad. Yeah. It's all railroad right away.
I think it's applying for grants. It's bringing in different stakeholders to see how much each person can honestly handle to take on. So if you secured funding on your side, what often people that secure funding, what they do is they reach out and they have people come and quote on the project. Because I'm with a state agency and we have a project calendar with a lot of other needs, I would never be able to show up and bite off 10 miles of work, because then I would have to dedicate a crew to that and other people wouldn't be getting their project done. So that's probably something I could come out and look at. If somebody who represents that land was able to also meet, and then we could talk about, looking at what does 20 linear acres look like? How much would that accomplish?
All right. Well, I want to keep all the doors open I can. So thank you for that. And it sounds like you might be able to look, if I was able to get the railroad right away owner there in the fall. Does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll also say that, we do pick up project work that CAL FIRE has been chipping away at, but also, once we hit fire season, or once fire burning season ends, it's, it's when I start a fuels project, we bring all stakeholders on site. So The local fire chief knows that we're there. The local CAL FIRE battalion chief knows that we're there. And so oftentimes we're piggybacking off of work that CAL FIRE has been actively working on. They just also don't have the manpower to get it completed. So if we jump in and start working, that frees them up to go do other things. And so we're all working in partnership these days.
Right. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
So, hey, who was it that cut all the vegetation?
The Four Rails Railroad Company.
Awesome.
Well, yeah.
Sounds like a personal problem to me. So,
you know, they are planning on reopening the dinner train from McLeod to Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
So I think they got the cart before the horse a little bit.
At least it's a good rumor going around.
Well, no, well, yeah, it's the rumor that the liaison heard from them.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
At first, I wondered about that too.
And Heidi, I do think that there has been, like you mentioned, some CEQA done on that, and that might be something we could follow up with Giselle. And I don't know if the RCD was even doing some at some point. So yeah, it might be able to patch together what information is available.
Yeah, I have Giselle gave me map.
Okay.
And it was a CAL FIRE application for a notice of exemption, and they did receive that notice of exemption, and they did the work originally.
Right.
Back in 2013.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Carolyn. And now we have this concern in the community that I think we're not going to be able to do anything until next winter, realistically. So yeah.
So are there more questions for Alicia tonight? And as she did put her information in the chat, so really encourage people to copy that down and reach out with projects. Alicia, I had a question in terms of, time frames. It always seemed like with the 3Cs, it took quite a while to get things going. So what do you recommend for people in terms of if they're thinking of a project? How should they consider that time frame for planning and
Yeah, that's a great question. When I first started at the Reading office, I used to tell people to get a hold of me 3 months in advance. And then with COVID and the slowing of so many things and people not being in their positions, I just told people to start getting a hold of me 6 months in advance. I receive our internal funding. I get the funding renewed every year at the start of the state's fiscal year. So after July 1st, I'll get an award letter. And right now, I'm already starting to look at projects to get that money obligated for next winter. And so projects that aren't brought to my attention yet, they will probably end up getting put on the following year list.
Okay.
And I would say fuel reduction is one of the highest needs right now. I have my crews on 100% fuel reduction projects in the winter. This has increased over the last 4 years to the point where I tell people I feel like an auctioneer. I just go, you get 2 weeks, you get 2 weeks, so that everybody feels like they're getting taken care of, right? But it's every land manager is seemingly responsible for doing some level of fuel reduction. So I'm getting contacted by cities, counties, nonprofits, churches, you name it. And so, yeah, I never thought that I would be doing this many fuel reduction coming from a trails background.
Right. Okay, looks like one last question. So I'm gonna turn it over to Simbala.
Okay, thank you. I'm just curious. So we I'm at the land trust. We have a property where we're doing kind of a forest health project. So you guys do like thinning as well, like tree thinning and limbing and yeah, you did say the burn piles as well. So that's kind of the work that we're doing at one of our properties this year. And we have a team of fellows as well. They are climate focused AmeriCorps fellows. And so they'll be doing some of that work on those properties. And I feel like this would be a cool opportunity to have a space to do that kind of work and, career development or professional development training. Because it's work that needs to be done. And, it's such a huge property. So it's like we can get funding for some of it, but then, some parts we can't. So yeah, that's
Yeah, remind me what land trust you're with.
Siskiyou Land Trust.
Okay.
So I believe you
Yeah.
interacted with some fellow, or maybe, yeah, maybe some of your team interacted with some fellows that were there in attendance at SWIFT recently.
Oh yeah, I attended SWIFT also. That's how I
Great.
got on this meeting.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, our whole Siskiyou crew goes to that every year. It's such a big, important part of the community. And I know that a lot of older folks that in the community, it seems like it just gives them a sense of relief to see a younger generation of people coming in and also taking an active interest in the natural resources in the surrounding area. So
Yes.
yeah, it's been great. And then just so with because we work on all different types of land, and we always meet with whoever is overseeing that land to make
Right.
sure that we are all on the same page of the prescription that's being applied. And so a lot of it is like mosaic cuts where we're going in and bringing up the ladder fuels and then leaving the dominant species and then taking out the understory and the brush, but making sure that we're paying attention to protected species.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we work with we got to work at a land trust here in Reading that's a preserve for blue oak. And so
Beautiful.
we also have our core members are now going through UC Davis's curriculum for the California Naturalist course. And so they're getting a baseline 40-hour college course that's 4 units of ecology to heighten their awareness and hopefully spark their interest to continue learning moving forward. But I always tell people if you're going to work in the outdoors for any length of time, you want to get familiar with the species and the environment that you're working in. And our core members seem to really love that educational opportunity.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's thanks to Western Shasta RCD. They were very supportive and put their staff through instructor training to make it a sustainable part of our program every
Western
year.
Shasta RCD?
What's that?
Did you say Western Shasta RCD? Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
And there is also, I don't have the information with me right now, but I did find that there's a nonprofit that is also now offering the course in Siskiyou County. And I am going to reach out to them because I need to find a local instructor to be able to teach it to our Siskiyou satellite office.
Right. Yeah.
I've had them in it before, but they had to travel to a different location. They had to go take the course in Chico, but I was like, well, I don't like that so much because I want them to learn about the Siskiyou Mountains.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that part that they did ecology courses too. That's really awesome.
Oh, I'll tell you something else that'll blow your mind. That's I think is amazing. And we have an international arm to our program. So we do a lot of international exchanges, and yeah, we have one Reading core member that's getting ready to go to Greece, and we have an international exchange program with I want to say it's Honduras, And we've had one in, what is the southern country in South America? I want to say it was Patagonia. So yeah, we send, and Japan, we send Corps members all over the world because we have a lot of countries contact the CCC to create a blueprint for a conservation corps in their country. And so the California Conservation Corps is the largest and oldest conservation corps in the world. Yeah, and I love it to see our corps members, from Siskiyou County in particular, get their first passport, get on their first plane ride. Yeah, it's really a rewarding program to work for, I must say.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's amazing. I had no idea it was that many opportunities within the program. So that's pretty sweet.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Alicia. And again, please feel free to reach out to her. Her contacts in that chat. So, lots more information and discussions one-on-one about projects, and we can always have Alicia back another time. But really appreciate your taking the time this evening, Alicia, to share with us, and glad to see that there's some funding and the hard work that the 3Cs are doing on fuel reduction. So that's fantastic.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. All right, so I'm going to move on in the interest of keeping us on time. And so we're going to move over to hear a little bit about the Fire Safe Council's Community Wildfire Defense Grant that we got a couple of years ago. And so Marina is going to give us a quick update as to what's going on with that project. So Marina?
Yes.
It's all yours.
Thank you. So just a quick update and just information on the project. The Community Wildfire Defense Grant aims to prepare, educate, and empower high-risk and vulnerable communities of Siskiyou County against the threat of wildfires. Our efforts include public outreach, education, wildfire mitigation, defensible space home assessments, implementation of defensible space on 500 homes, and fuels reduction along roadsides to improve entry and egress for emergency personnel. To date, we've implemented defensible space on 145 homes, which brings us to 29% closer to our goal. Current active implementations are in Forks of Salmon. Residential phase is complete there. We have completed defensible space on 27 homes, and we are currently coordinating with the U.S. Forest Service on roadside parcels, but we are under a limited operating period due to spotted owls until the fall. So we are currently on hold there. We are also in Dunsmuir, and we have completed 23 homes out of 48. So we have 25 remaining, and we will continue the work this month there. We are also scheduled to be in Dunsmuir May 29th for a Green Waste Day. And we are also in Scott Bar and Hamburg. We have done 32 homes out of 36, and we have 4 remaining there as well. Next communities of focus for us are to move through the rest of Scott Valley and Klamath River communities, Tenet and Bray, Western Wairika, Callahan and Etna, Sawyers Bar, and Sums Bar. And these are the next communities that we will be hitting. I will go ahead and drop a quick one sheet for us if anybody has any questions or anybody knows of anybody that wants to sign up for our project or just wants to follow up, please do so. Have any questions, you can send them to me here today or follow up via the one sheet. Any questions or concerns? I'll throw it back to you, Carolyn. It's a quick update.
Okay, great. Great. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then we'll move over and we'll to the Klamath National Forest. And Jen, are you on still? You're there. Yeah.
I'm here. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so let's see. Since our last meeting, we did a few prescribed burns, one out at Masterson Loop and out near Hayden Ridge. Those are both kind of south of the community of Callahan. We also did some underburning near Cedar Mountain, which is kind of in the Bray area. Well, until today, it was too dry. It's been too dry for the last week or so. So we hit pause and waited. We're waiting for windows to come back into the calendar. Our snow survey results came in for March. They are quite grim. Our snow depth was at just under 2% of the long-term average for this time of year. And March is usually, when we have the height of our measurements, the most snow that we measure. So not great news. The current conditions are similar to what we had in 2015. And to a lesser extent to 2014 and 2022. So it's dry out there. We've been responding to some escaped debris burns. We have one of our helicopters, our Type 1 helicopter is on already. It's in South Dakota right now on a fire assignment. We're bringing one of our Type 3 helicopters, that's the smaller one, coming early on May 4th. There'll be a second one coming, I think, in June. Our fire personnel, our permanent seasonals are getting onboarded right now. Our temps come on in May, and we will be moving to 7-day staffing the first week in May. The Siskiyou Tanker Base will be open this year. Tentatively, it'll be open July 1st, unless it's needed earlier than that. And it'll be operating with a mobile retardant base setup like it has been for the last couple of years, but it will be open. We have been getting some cameras installed from the Alert California system. So those are cameras that anybody can look at online. This week we had 3 installed, one at Slater Butte outside of Happy Camp, one at Buckhorn north of the community of Klamath River, and then one at Collins Baldy south of Klamath River. We are anticipating getting, I don't know, like another 5 or so, hopefully before fire season. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Alert California, it's pretty cool website. It's got live feed cameras across California. And I'll put a link to that in the chat when I'm done with my update. We have a detailed deputy forest supervisor, which is awesome. His name is Daryl Hodges. He's a district ranger from the Los Padres National Forest. So this is his first week, and we're happy to have him. He'll be here for 120 days. The 2 Forest prescribed burn EA is still on track for a decision in May. So that's good news. Our rack, we are still waiting for the Siskiyou rack. We're still waiting on the charter approval. Once that has been signed, then we'll be looking for nominations for people to join the Siskiyou rack. So if I don't mention that in any of my updates moving forward, please ask me. And then the last thing, some folks might have heard about some significant reorganization that the Forest Service is about to undergo. It just came out in the news maybe the last week or so. It's all still very new, but I can give you some kind of bullet headings right now. And our WO, the Washington office, which is where the Forest Service headquarters is at, is actually going to move to Salt Lake City. There'll be a small group of people still in the Washington office, but our primary base will be out of Salt Lake. We'll be going to smaller state-based models rather than regions, which that's not a huge change for Region 5 because we're already California, but it'll be a big change for some of our other regions that have multiple states in them. So it's not supposed to affect districts or forests at this time. But again, this is all very new, very early, and we're still learning about it. So that's my update for today. Anybody have any questions? Okay.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Appreciate that. Now we'll move over to Christine. Christine, what's going on in the Shasta Trinity?
Yeah, so speaking for the Shasta and McLeod district, we did take advantage of a burn window about a week and a half ago, and so we burned 77 acres off of Highway 89 in the Snowman's Hill area, and then another 220 acres off of Highway 89 just before you hit the Fowler's Campground. Um, that Snowman's was kind of mixed conifer, and then the Highway 89 was pine plantation. And so far, we're pretty pleased with the effects. As Jen said, it was actually a little bit too dry the last week and a half. But we are going to be hunting for some windows with this precep coming in. So anyone who's familiar with it kind of knows that weather and which unit is kind of a moving target. So as this weather system becomes more clear how much precipitation it's going to drop, as we get closer to next week, we'll kind of maybe McBride, Plantation outside of Mount Shasta, or potentially another unit in 89, depending on how that system develops. So stay tuned. We'll get that information out when we know more. Additionally, the Azalea timber sale, so that's off Old McLeod Road in Mount Shasta, that's pretty much wrapped up on the timber side, so we'll be able to move in pretty soon to start doing some more fuel reduction work. We did burn some piles early last fall. Some other projects will continue to be snagging along Everett Memorial Highway, where we've got that mass mortality and we're responsible for that fuel break. So that will continue on throughout the summer. And then it's more of a recreation public safety project, but we are going to continue to snag on the Gateway Trail systems. And now that the CAL FIRE Good Neighbor Agreement is in place, we're hoping to get some assistance from them so that'll be ongoing throughout the summer. And then other than that, we just have, some mastication contracts sprinkled out in the McLeod Flats that will be starting up soon. And I think that's it for Mount Shasta McLeod.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
I have
All
a
right.
quick question for Christine. Hi,
Yeah,
Christine.
go ahead, Heidi.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Forest Service knows about this removal of, fuels that have been cut down all the way to McLeod, but I just want to put it on your radar, and I'll try to let Joe Rodarm know as well. I just haven't had a chance. I don't know if it's a threat, but it's just something that is like now there's kind of unmanageable fuel. It's not like you can throw it in a chipper. It's like they pulled it out with the excavator, I think.
Yeah, no, that was really helpful to hear about. I think kind of like everyone else was saying, we'd kind of been hearing rumors, that things had happened, and I know some of our employees who like enjoy the rails to trails and some of the trails along there were, not so thrilled that those had been, managed, I guess, away. So yeah, I will definitely bring that up. And then I have no idea how the CAL FIRE partnerships with burning on private land works. The land trust and RCD folks might know, but I just wonder, like I said, not in a professional capacity, but I wonder if that's like a project that they would want to partner on, because I know they're typically like very favorable to getting acres treated.
Yeah, I've let them know, and they're so busy. They haven't gotten back to me, of course, but thank you.
Yep.
Okay, and I see one more hand up for Connor. Did you have a question for Christine?
Yes, I did. I had a question for Christine. Christine, you said that you guys were currently doing like a timber cruising thing where you guys were selling large land plots. Was that correct?
Well, we have continual timber sales going on constantly throughout the district.
Sorry, I muted myself. Yeah, I would love it if you could leave your sorry to try to be not trying to be a salesman here. I'm really trying to just help the mitigation effort. And I'd really love to show you what we got going on. We're piloting with Davy Tree right now on a 300-acre parcel. I'd love to show you the deliverable that we got. I'm not trying to replace RPFs or timber cruising, but we do have an advanced capture method that we could kind of sit alongside those people that have been doing it for a long time. And instead of getting a sample inventory, we can get a full inventory. We can detect all sorts of things, tree count, species, size, volume. I'd love if you leave your contact info. Once we get proof of concept with Davy Tree, I'd love to send it your way and see if you guys are interested.
Yeah, it's probably a little above like my pay grade, but if you drop your info in the chat, I can pass that along to the timber folks.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you, Christine. Bye.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate that. And we'll move on now. I didn't see anybody from CAL FIRE on, so we'll move over to nobody from Caltrans. So I have Shasta Valley RCD. Patty, are you also representing the RCD tonight?
I must be because I'm here. So, but yeah, so I'll speak first for the Siskiyou PBA, and that is we've kind of gone into a little bit of a quiet period in terms of had a little bit of a funding drought. You know, we were very successful in executing the guidance that we had and spending the money and getting the work done. And we are we're on the hunt for the next round right now for the Siskiyou PBA. As far as the Shasta Valley RCD goes, man, I can't even begin to tell you the list of projects that are going on. I know that a couple of ones are just starting out. We've got a in partnership with the Weed Fire Department. We're doing the community protection project around weed. And in fact, I think that contractors are maybe even starting that tomorrow. Kicking that off. I think that there's some work going on in Luganville Forest on land trust land. And so that's kind of kicked off. And then the other one that's fairly new is out at Lake Shastina on the east side of the Big Springs Road. There's a juniper reduction project that's going on that's just kind of starting out. And we're starting to contact landowners and get people signed up for the work there. That's kind of it. That's kind of off the top of my head.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to go down my list and see if who else is here. I didn't see Dave McAdams from the Siskiyou Media Council. Or Julie or Titus or Jay Perkins. I think they are not here. Let's see. Heidi, I'm going to jump all the way down to you. Do you have anything else that you wanted to bring up from the Gateway Firewise community?
Thanks, Carolyn. No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. And I don't see any buddy from the Sierra Nevada Conservancy. I guess at this point, since I'm not seeing on my lengthy list of 24 contacts, I don't see anyone, so I'm going to open it up. Is there anyone that wants to bring forth some information to share with the group at this time? Just raise your hand. Okay, Connor, go ahead. You got it.
Hi, you guys. Sorry for taking over the microphone a little bit here. Let me lower my hand. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys for everything that you guys are doing. And I've got a lot of fire for, no pun intended, for trying to put the fire out this year. And last time we were on the call, Vibrant Planet was brought up. I reached out to them and I actually got in touch with their, the person in charge of growth and development. And ultimately what these conversations have led me into doing is I'm trying to become the visibility layer for these large mitigation groups. And we're putting the data that I get from the mitigation work into the large landscape models that are rescoring California for the insurance markets. So right now we're currently in the pilot phase, but we have advanced capture methods, and we're really hitting the ground running, and we're hoping to. No, that's kind of part of the vision, but I know that'll sit well with you guys because that's what you guys kind of showed me. Vibrant Planet, the large landscaping models that are the two-dimensional aerial flyovers, kind of trying to find out where the mitigation work needs to go next. And I completely agree with the model. I think the documentation side of it all needs to be incorporated back into the models for the insurance companies to understand what's insurable. And on the last call with Duria Sneed, the insurance lady, saying that 5 carriers were starting to ride again and coming back into California with Mercury and USAA, it just got me excited. Yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. It's kind of what I've been working on. I'm also doing timber cruising and a couple other things that we do, but yeah, typically that's what we're trying to do. And we have a soft offer from a Firewise community here in Northern California, about 1,400 homes. POA president is meeting with me next week to see if we can kind of get that individual level mitigation work applied to the large landscape models, if that makes sense. Thank you for letting me talk.
Yeah, and Connor, go ahead, and if you want, put your contact information in the chat, and then people might be able to reach out to you if they have follow-up questions or interested in some of the product that you might have.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave it right now. Thank you so much.
Okay, you bet. All right. Anybody else at this time want to bring up anything?
I just want to confirm, is burn pile season over on May 1st?
Yeah, that's a kind of CAL FIRE question. I was hoping they would come on. Patty, have you heard anything?
So that's a condition-based Symbala. So,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
the call, I mean, who knows what this rain's going to do?
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious. So there's not an official date yet?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So get out there and start burning. All right. Ruby, can you think of anything I'm forgetting that we need to bring up from the Fire Safe Council? No?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm gonna say thank you to everyone. Greg, I guess we can stop the recording, and appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. And